Welcome, beautiful souls, to another episode of Wake Up Happy Sis. I'm your host, Leanne Dulce, self care strategist, and you are listening to KCCR The Brownstone, where we are changing the narrative for our Black and Brown people by telling our stories our way. So I'm so excited to share today's conversation with you guys. Okay, I've got a special guest. Her name is LiSára, and she is going to share with us the fascinating world of sound healing. And if you know about sound healing, you might not know this. She's going to try and expand our consciousness and what we think sound healing can do for us and what sound can do for us. So, I want you guys to make sure you're listening, tune in, turn it up, share it with a friend to make sure that they don't miss this, right? So, but if you need to grab a cozy blanket, get on the couch, relax out, that's okay too. Do what you need to do to feel comfortable, but make sure you come on in this room, sit on the couch with me up here in the brownstone, and that you get ready to learn a little bit. So, with that, I'm going to bring LiSára in and make sure if you have questions, leave them in the chat. If you're watching this on replay, leave them in the chat so that we can get back to you. So, without further ado, welcome, LiSára.
Hello. Oh my goodness, your intro had me wanting to be like, let me just lie down over here. I always keep it off screen, but since you mentioned it, I have my water. Water is so important for healing work, yo. Water, just water, water, water. And then I have my vitamin C, a little mandarin. I like it because it's like cute. It's kind of like candy. And some nuts for protein. So
you gotta have that. And see, I've got my candle's not burning yet, but I always keep my candles near because that helps kind of ground me and just help when I'm just not having a good day. But today is such a beautiful day, and we're gonna have a great conversation. I'm so excited for this because I know a little bit about sound healing, but I'm so excited to hear about sexy sound healing. Like you had me with the title, like just with the name. I was like, oh, what is that? So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you are, what you do, and just what is sexy sound healing?
Yes, I love that you got excited about the title because part of what I believe the importance of quote sexiness is actually allowing this appeal for this idea of something that's going to be pleasing, something that's going to feel good. And so often when we talk about healing, people talk about this arduous process, like it's going to hurt, like you're going to have to grind through it and you're going to be out for a couple days. It's not said directly necessarily like that, but there's often this sentiment where it's just, you see these memes online, it's like, it's grueling. And it can be, and it doesn't always have to be. And the more consistent and regular we are with our healing, the more we're releasing things and letting things go. We don't allow there to actually be time for things to build up such that when you do release, then it is painful. Right? So part of sexy is actually allowing healing to feel sexy, to feel pleasurable, to feel like it's something you can actually do. And especially for us, for the sisters, we have so much that we often carry, that we hold, whether it's ancestrally or in our everyday lives right now. So just knowing that we can go a little piece and a little step and it can feel good is, I think, just so powerful and important. But you asked me to share about myself, so I'll do that too.
Okay, look, we get into all of it. We're gonna get into all of it today.
Yes, I'm super driven by passion, and actually, I will say, this is also a big part of what sexy represents, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about the meaning of sexy and the sexy self in a bit. But yeah, if you're new to me, hello. We're gonna laugh a lot. We're gonna be playful. I'm gonna say some dumb shit. We're gonna keep it light when we go heavy.
That's it. Ain't nothing wrong with it,
Okay, so I'm LiSára. I am originally from the East Coast, from Delaware, first state. I live in California now. Nobody knows where I'm from out here. But I live on the on the central Californian coast. And my purpose is to inspire and be a model of what is possible when we live as our most alive, connected, embodied, sovereign selves. Every freaking thing I do comes from that place, that goal. So, how that manifests in work, if you're able to see me, you can see these titles next to my name. So, we have the What is Sexy podcast. That doesn't need too much explanation. Sexy Sound Healing is an audio streaming service that is revolutionizing the sound healing and also overall healing experience. So there are these on-demand audio experiences that you can have for anything. I'm going to just say this kind of as a summary now, because I want to get into the specifics later. But anything from a standard meditation to, healing for sexy time, healing an emotion. Say you have, this is so real, y'all. Let's say you are in the middle of your day, someone pissed you off, and you have a meeting in 10 minutes. We have a whole body of work called emotional releases, where the audio is actually engineered with the specific frequency of that emotion you're feeling. And then about halfway through, it transitions you so that you can actually process, say, anger or grief. You can process it and then actually come to a regulated space. So, and get back to work or get back to your life, get back to feeling whatever you need to do. And then, of course, when it's time for you to go deeper, we have that as well. But there's this massive array of healings for basically every area of your life. It's not we do self-care and we do healing and then we go live. It's we live with that current connection. So
Yes.
that's a primer on what sexy sound healing is about. And I'm also a musical artist and, of course, obviously a sound healer. So LiSára music is coming to you soon. I cannot wait. And
Okay.
yes, and it's so funny. I'm trained as a linguist, and I come from a very diverse, in so many ways, background, and so my struggle actually had been defining, like, what is my sound? Like, what genre am I actually going to choose? What language am I going to sing this in? What? It's like that concept of when you have so many options, it can be a little more difficult.
Yes, too many options is hard to choose.
Right. So that's been the journey that I'm on, and I think I'm coming to a place, so it's good. And then the last thing I want to share is about Sexy Self-Actualized. And Sexy Self-Actualized includes sexy sound healing, but it takes it a step further in that it is where you experience not only the healing, but also activating and accessing and living your full potential, which we call the sexy self, and embodying your true nature.
Oh, I love that. So when you're I hear what I'm hearing is is levels. I love the part because I always tell people we have to stop trying to suppress our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to feel them when you feel them, like feel them now.
Yes.
Right. And then because then you can process it. I want people to live in a more mindful state. How am I feeling? Not judging it, just how am I feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just get to that. I can start to process why I'm feeling it so I can release it. Like you said, get on with life. And to know that there's music that can help people with that journey.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we're living in the times we're living in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you say that sound healing and your specific brand of sound healing has kind of changed your life for the better?
Oh my goodness. I listen to probably, and you heard me, I'm in the music industry, right? I listen to probably 98% sexy sound healing music now. It's almost like the analogy I think of is when you have been eating, say, fast food or even restaurant food, but then you discover the freshness of something that's organic and raw, and you taste the juiciness of whether it's this mandarin or you know, you experience this whole nother level of food and your palate has shifted, and then you go, wait, I can't, I
Can
like,
never go back.
yeah. Like I want to, my old pattern wants me to, especially when I'm having a bad day, and I'm a binger, so there's that. But but it's just, you start to feel the difference, you start to recognize the difference. So in my own life, um it is, it's the soundtrack to every day, some part of every day. I want to take a step back for, or I want to take a step to the foundation, which
Yes.
is understanding what sound healing actually is, because I think I see online that there are a lot of misconceptions and I would say superficial understandings. And something that personally irks me is also this one-dimensional presentation of sound healing and also spirituality. And we
Mhm.
know that ish is whitewashed and,
Definitely.
appropriated and removed from our ancestral roots. Um, so to bring it back, sound healing uh, is simply using any type of sound. So that could be singing, that could be an instrument, it could be the literally any sound. For when we say healing, it is for the restoration of harmony in the body, mind, spirit. So healing is not something's broke, I gotta fix it. Healing is not I haven't attained a certain skill set or level, or I didn't arrive to the next potential degree. Like it's not that. Healing is returning to our natural state, our natural harmonized state. And it's possible for some of us that we've never experienced our natural state because we were born into chaos and then we grew up in chaos, right? So understanding that even just the process of healing can feel so strange because what's familiar is everything but the dis-ease, right? So it's ease is our actual natural state. So
Yeah.
sound healing is everything, sound and vibration, because all sounds carry vibration, all vibrations carry sound, even if, and especially if, when we cannot hear it, because the human ear only perceives actually a very limited uh,
Mhm.
range of sound. So yeah, wanting to start there. The second thing that's important to understand about sound and why sound is um, so palpable, because we all know music's powerful. People say it all day long, music's powerful. But here's the thing about sound. The universe is the world around us, your body, your hair, your skin, everything you can touch, the things you can and cannot see. Over 99% of the universe is energy. Energy happens in waves. So this is the frequency is a number of waves, a number of oscillations that an energetic waves has within 1 second. Energy also exists in particles. I just need to say that for my nerd disclaimers who are like, wait. So, okay, there's that. We're talking about the waves though. Because when we're talking about healing and coming to that state of harmony and that balance, there's a flow, a natural flow of energy. And it's the particles is what you get when you take a snapshot. So with energetic waves and frequency, these frequencies are oscillations, as mentioned,
Mhm.
and we get energy in the form of sound, in the form of light, in the form of vibration. So everything, as mentioned, right? There's over 99% energy. All of these things have vibration, light, and or sound attached, right?
Mm.
So what that means in practical terms is that there is a frequency happening everywhere all the time. A lot of times, I'm going to say most of the times, for most of us on this planet, we are surrounded by harmful frequencies that we don't even know how to detect, let alone actually detecting them, because it's beyond what we're perceiving, whether we're not being able to hear it, we're not able to see it, etc. So consciously choosing, being empowered to choose what you are listening to, what
Mhm.
you are immersing yourself in, is a huge step in reclaiming your own sovereignty toward not only healing, but to experiencing the most vast, exciting, fulfilling version of yourself and of your life. So that's the warm up on sound healing. Now,
But I love that because when you're on TikTok, I'm on TikTok,
oh,
and there's always what I've known come up is now a lot of sound healing because once you say something and you're around your phone, it's all you see. So now, because you raised an interesting concept of there's always, like you said, the negative energy.
mhm.
So how are we able to kind of determine those negative frequencies versus the more positive frequencies that can help us can they help us combat those negative frequencies, or how does that work?
Yeah, I love that you said that. I think it's really important to simply default to the idea that, especially if you're using technology, if you're in a city or near a city, if you're near any form of transportation, any factory, anything that was built by humans,
Mhm.
for the most part, you are around negative frequencies. And this also goes for, right? I mentioned color and vibration as well. This also goes for uh, what the fabric we wear, what chemicals are in the stuff that goes in our hair, the frequency of the food, the vibration of what we are literally consuming into our bodies. So we can just, and I want you to default to there's negative stuff. And it's honestly, it can be really disheartening uh to learn more and be like, oh shit, that too, It's like, but it presented itself as healthy. The ingredients said natural
Like,
flavors in it.
I thought I was there. You're like, no.
Right, right. uh so because the truth is that in our modern world, most things that are produced, and I'll probably say everything that's mass produced, has some of this harmful, unhelpful frequency somewhere in it. It is, yeah, it is crucial for us to cultivate spaces within us and around us to experience this form again of healing, that is this restoration of harmony.
Yeah.
And you can feel, right, when you feel more at ease, when you feel more calm, when you feel energized, because I also don't want to make it sound like it's only about calm. That's a whole other problem. Uh, when you feel energized in a way that feels good and fulfilling and light and playful, like when you feel good, like what that feels like, right? So that is something you can attune yourself to. Am I trying to tell myself I feel good because positive psychology said so? Or am I actually feeling good? Am I feeling good in my body? Am I feeling good in my mind? Am I feeling good in my heart? Um, I'm sharing this because these are indications where you can assess for yourself in real time, because it's basically impossible to know every single frequency that's happening, right? So if you're connecting to your sense of feeling centered, feeling grounded, knowing what that actually looks and feels like and means for you, especially in different contexts, because feeling grounded in the workplace say if you work at a corporation, you have a 9 to 5, is going to present differently than feeling grounded in the bathtub or feeling grounded right before you fall asleep, in the bed, right? So I think that's really important, just to have those really tools for yourself, to that awareness that says, yes, I know that I have strayed from this feeling, and I can, because when we know that, then we can come back to it. When we're not aware is when we just, the things start to build up. We don't know what's wrong. Communication goes wild. Stories start feeding in the head. The mind's trying to come up with reasons why something's wrong. And so it runs these old negative
Oh, yeah.
beliefs, what have you, right? So that awareness. Now, to bring sound healing back in, there are known frequencies, sound frequencies, that support healing of specific types. I don't know if we probably don't have time to get into the depths of each of them, but I will just list off names, and feel free to Google or ask me. I can't wait to connect with y'all. You can ask me as well. Things like solfeggio frequencies, things like binaural beats. I would say those are probably the most common.
Now say the first one over.
Solfeggio frequencies.
Solfeggio.
Solfeggio. Solfeggio. Italian word. Solfeggio frequencies. And these correlate with different power centers in the body. There are 9 known frequencies, or let's say 9 main frequencies, I'll say that way. And each of them support different things. So for example, 396 supports 396 hertz. Hertz is the Hz, what you'll see a lot if you're looking at anything related to a sound frequency. It's just that measure of the oscillations. 396 hertz is a frequency that people associate with the root chakra, with that base power center in our body, and correlates with the release of trauma, fear, and supports that sense of feeling grounded and rooted and stable, safe. So that's one example of the solfeggio frequencies.
Okay.
And then the binaural beats are amazing. And I want to share about this and take it back a bit, because binaural beats are a relatively new development with technology. However, we can go back to our lineages and ancient Egypt and our ancestry and see where this began. So the concept, what binaural beats support, is a shift in our brain waves, a shift in our actual consciousness, states of consciousness. And we do this naturally throughout the day. Right now, most people watching or listening, your brain is in what's called the beta state, beta waves, which is normal thinking, processing. You're just here. You're kind of alert, right? Your brain's functioning, your thinking capacities are intact, etc. When the waves slow down, so the oscillation slows down, the frequency gets lower, then your brain enters what's called the alpha state. Alpha is where you feel relaxed, where you access more creativity. If you are someone who meditates a lot, or someone who just has this kind of calm, quiet demeanor, doesn't have to be quiet, but kind of just rolls in this super laid back way, they seem to not get fazed by anything. They are more than likely operating more often in this alpha state. Okay. When you slow down even more, you get to theta. Now, theta is when this range of frequencies, when you reach theta, a few things happen. One, you can kind of drift in and out of sleep, right? So again, we naturally hit most of these, not all of them, but most of them each day. So theta, if you have fallen asleep before, you've experienced theta. Now, here's what's also super exciting about theta. This is where we access the subconscious. And as much as we love to have our goals and do the damn thing and write it all out and plan it, the subconscious is what runs a lot of the show, right? So being able to choose consciously to access the subconscious in order to either reprogram something, to accustom your subconscious to anything from learning new material to changing an old habit or belief or pattern to um, determining how you might feel when you wake up the next day. There's so much that can be implemented when you access theta. Um, and I actually just want to say a little bit more about the learning part. I did not know anything about anything I'm sharing with you when I was a kid. But when I was 17, my senior year of high school, I started learning Spanish because there was a super cute, fun, sweet student from Venezuela who I befriended. And I assumed, I was like, oh, I'm just learning really fast because I'm hanging out with her. We never spoke Spanish together. I learned really fast because I would fall asleep to a Spanish, whatever, some type of teaching CD.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time, again, I had no idea, but in retrospect, I'm like, oh, of course, I was all up in that theta. Like, it was just dropping itself into my
Dropping in.
subconscious. Yeah. And even still today, that was, decades ago now. Still today, it feels natural to just speak Spanish because of how I learned it, because my subconscious learned it. And another piece about this, you know how little kids are such sponges, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
So as a child between the ages of 0 and 7, your brain is naturally more in the theta state. And that is why it's so easy to learn your first language,
Mm-hmm.
why it's so easy to parrot whatever your parents or whoever's around you, what they're saying. And conversely, not conversely, but in addition, this is also where it becomes so easy to learn the things that maybe aren't helpful, the things
Right.
that we unlearn in adulthood,
Definitely.
Yeah. So with the specific sound healing frequencies, when you know what it is that you're feeling and you know what it is that you would rather feel, that's when you can be empowered to go, okay, this is the audio experience I want to have right now because I want to restore that sense of balance, whether it's feeling calm, whether it's getting lit, whether it's, preparing to you got to build up energy because you're going to give a big
Yeah.
presentation, right? Sales call,
Hype
pitching,
yourself
whatever.
up. Yeah, when you got to hype yourself up a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because there's a difference too between like getting hype and creating some anxiety or getting hype and feeling centered in it.
Yes.
And so this is, oh my goodness, this was big for me because you can probably hear I'm excited in general, but it's so easy for me to get to the anxious place. Or I'll say it used to be. It still is, but I know when I'm like, oh, go in there, and I just move back. It's a
Mm-hmm.
practice, right? So and this is also connected with breath as well, learning how to breathe. Sound healing and breath work go really well together. And inside of Sexy Sound Healing, every guided audio we have starts with connecting to breath. Because if you're taking shallow breaths, you're already priming your body to feel anxious because you're breathing shallowly into the chest.
Okay.
So that's sound healing. Um, Oh my God, I'm like, there's so much I want to say. Okay.
Let
Uh,
me ask you this.
yes, ask me.
Is there a certain amount of time you should listen to something? So let's say you got 30 minutes or 10 minutes
Mm.
between meetings. Is that enough time to practice to use sound healing? Or is it like, oh no, you really need like 30 minutes, or no, you can do it in 5 minutes?
You can have any amount of time. Look, as these the harmful, quote unquote, harmful frequencies that are around, they can hit you in 2 seconds. So why not give yourself 2 seconds of supportive, right? So frequency. So inside Sexy Sound Healing, or actually before I say that, Sexy Sound Healing is designed for the practical modern day person who
That-
wants to be connected to themselves and come home to themselves and live from that place as much as possible. So we have audios, we have ancestral invocations that are 2 minutes. Um, And that probably came up for me just to share first, because I often listen to the ancestral invocation before I'm going to go speak, before I'm going to get on stage, because I want to feel that hype, that energy.
Yes.
And I want to feel that support. I'm calling them in.
Definitely.
It's like Maya Angelou said, I come as one, I stand as 10,000. So after those 2 minutes, I'm like, okay, here we go.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Exactly. As I mentioned earlier with the emotional releases, all of the emotional releases that we have are intended for quick, right? Are intended to be, we got shit to do, we got life to live, it's the middle of the day. All of them are between 5 and 8 minutes. So
Okay.
so you give yourself that 2 to 3 minutes, depending on which emotion it is, how deep it is. And when I say deep, I actually mean the lowness of the frequency, because it's easier to transition from anger to a supportive energy than it is from shame or from guilt, because it carries a lower vibration. So the difference in times are about that. But yeah, so you're pissed, you process the anger, you regulate your nervous system, and and you move back. You move back to your life. So to answer your question, yeah, in a concretely, any amount of time is great. We have plenty of long audios, the sleep ones that are 8 hours. But actually, the things that are most exciting for folks are the things that people don't, that, Sexy Sound Healing members tend to be the things that they can't find anywhere else, which is part of why I created it. I was like, gosh, when I discovered sound healing, I was like, oh, this is great. But why do I have to be meditating? Like, I want to get lit. Like, I'm trying to dance. I love to dance. I'm like, where's my music for that? So we have a whole mood setting category, that has music that's like Netflix and chill vibe. We have music that's sexy time, love and sex. There's some trigger warnings on some of these.
Like, whoa, do not listen to this just anywhere around just anybody.
But there's a lot of, everything's well defined, so you can consensually choose whatever you desire, and things for all the flavors. So yes, but yeah, music to dance to. This is all multi-genre music engineered with supportive healing frequencies. So when you open it up, it'll say this is the experience, or this is the sound, this is the frequency, and this is what those frequencies are for, right? And so this is all about you being empowered on what you're choosing and when and why. A lot of our guided ceremonies are in the 20 to 30 something minute range. Our vocal activation, I believe, is 25. I was actually listening just before we began to the full body awareness, which is a 20-minute, from toe to head, just connecting to all parts of self. So what's really, I think, special about sound healing, and I mentioned before, so often it's like there's this one-dimensional presentation of like, must meditate. It's usually a blonde chick with some white thing on in a whatever position she learned. But what is amazing is that it goes so much beyond meditation. Right. It goes so much beyond being quiet and going to sleep and being still. This is about feeling your most energized, your most expansive in every area of your life, which is why we have, these moving meditations. So you can feel the embodiment. You can feel yourself take it on. It's not an idea that's in your head that you have to be still and sit quiet for. We weren't born to sit fucking quiet. We were born to move.
Period.
Right. And live. So yeah, everything that's in there is speaking to that. In addition to this mood setting category, there's also a whole section that's called high performance. And so there you'll find affirmations that are spoken and singing. And singing using our voices is so powerful because this is an instrument. I do whole workshops and deep experiences on just understanding how to use your own voice for healing, not to sound like the coolest singer, but for your own healing, because there's vibration that happens here when we use our voices. And that vibration, right, it's a form of energy, can
Mhm.
support our healing too. Um, and then the final, I guess the final section is that meditative and journeying. Um, and you'll find everything from birth and or rebirth and death ceremonies to um, to connecting with the inner child, to there's a lot of there's some trigger warning kink, uh, kinky shadow work in
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Good amounts of shadow work for sure. Um, and yeah, ancestral healing, chakra rebalancing, etc.
So let's switch a little bit because what I love is connections between things. So
Mm,
I want to talk a little bit about how you see the connection between sound healing and spirituality potentially.
mm, yes. I just felt my body just like almost it was like it just like clicked into some deeper level of like, there was a release when you said that. Um, yes, absolutely. Um, so in ancient Egypt, the pyramids, people think that the pyramids are really beautiful and they go take pictures of the outside, but it's inside where the excitement was going down because these pyramids were tuned so that when you walked in, or the pharaohs, the people that were able to get in, they were able to actually, just by being in that physical space and having a sound played, were able to receive the healing that
Mm.
would help them connect to not only, that restoration of harmony within self, but to connect to what I call the infinite field of intuitive intelligence.
Uh,
And essentially, I'm so glad you asked because this is also a huge part of, of sexy sound healing, and sexy self-actualized in particular. So one of the things about decolonization, I got to rep for decolonization for a
go
sec.
ahead.
Uh, because that used to be a big part of my coaching work when I coached. When we detach from these ideas of what intelligence is supposed to be, right? Like, oh, I have my PhD, which means I read the books that the German dudes wrote in the 1800s, right? There's this idea that intelligence is supposed to be something you read in the book, when actually, okay, sure, that can be a form of intelligence that you can remember that information, but there's also this infinite amount of information that is carried through, you guessed it, the energetic waves
Yeah.
that are all around us and in us and through us at all times. And so, if you've heard of the clairs, right, the connecting to clairvoyance, clear
Mhm.
seeing, being able to see, perceive, we have all these channels of perceiving information. I remember when I was coaching, I used to work with, I noticed with my Black women, almost all of them experience clairsentience, this ability to feel information, whether it was being an empath or actually just feeling where and what was going on in someone else's body and, and perceiving information from there. I noticed the most resistance to that particular skill set, that particular intuitive gift. And if you are listening to this, you resonate with any of this at all, I want you to know that it is so amazing to come to a place where you're in a relationship with your own intuition, where you not only, learn to accept it and embrace it, but where you trust it enough to have a relationship where it does not overpower you. Because so often when we come into understanding the immense magnitude of our power, it can be daunting. It can feel overwhelming. It's like, "Ooh, I am infinitely powerful intrinsically, like without anyone else. I don't need to have power over someone else. It's all inside of me." But systems of oppression have taught me I'm supposed to have a title to have it over someone else. But oh shit, this power is in here. And I'm
Mhm.
connecting with myself, and and coming to this place of healing and restoring the natural flow of energy, I can more easily perceive this. And now I'm getting visions and I'm hearing frequencies and I'm hearing voices and all these things that people have deemed, quote, crazy in the past as a way of disconnecting people from their own selves and their own truth and the collective field of consciousness. When you come into recognizing, and I can actually feel this right now, there is not a single person listening to this. Yep, I'm talking to you. There's not a single person listening to this who has not experienced this. That's like very clearly channeling through me right now. So if you're listening, you can consider whether it's something you saw, whether it's something you heard or you thought you heard, whether it was a gut feeling, whether it was something you smelled even, or tasted. You ate something, but you tasted something else. You know, there are so many ways we perceive information. And we don't catch it because we've been socialized to either not think about it, to ignore it, reject it, or think it's crazy. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you asked this. When we connect to ourselves and we return to our natural way of being, that natural ease, the natural harmonized state, it is too natural that we open our channels of connecting to intuitive information.
No, I definitely agree with that, because it's like you'll be somewhere, you've never been there before, but you know the place, right? And I tell people that all the time. Or you get a feeling, and the minute somebody walks in, like
Yes.
I had this one ex, and this was the freakiest thing. And my friends would be like, "Stop doing that." I'm like, I can't help it. But if, let's say, we'd be in a room, the door is back there. If he walked anywhere into a space where I was, I would instantly stop whatever. I'm talking mid conversation, and my body would turn directly to wherever he was. And my friends would like, "Stop doing that." I was like, I can't help it. He's right. I can't help it every time. But that's what it would be.
Wait, who was this person?
This was my ex.
Okay, that's what I thought. Right. Okay,
and I would joke with him and say, you know, we've met in so many past lives. That's why I can do that. Yes. Because we are connected like this, and we ain't got it right yet because he's my ex. So I was like, in the next lifetime, we'll get it right that time.
Right? I guess we'll see you next lifetime. Exactly. Well, Erica.
Ringing in the ears. I'll literally be doing something, just doesn't matter what it is. And all of a sudden, it's usually my left ear. Then my left ear starts ringing. So I'm like, okay, pay attention. Start paying attention. Because, you know, so that's like, that's what I'm always like, trying to be more mindful and listen to what's going on inside me and around me. So I definitely love that connection to spirituality, because that's what connects us all together.
Yes, like, exactly.
We are all connected together. There is no, you know, yes, there's me, the individual, but I hate to think like the Borg, but the collective. There's also the collective too.
Yes. So much richness in what you just said. Working backwards, what I think is a failure of, maybe the ultimate failure of the personal development industry, is that it stops at the individual, right? It's so Western individualistic culture in that way, when actually what it avails for us, and especially if you're listening to this right now and you're someone who is the strong, independent woman, is the overgiver, is the people pleaser, is someone who cares a lot about other people, and you find yourself in that, what I call martyr paradigm, or like trying to be selfless in order to appease and please. It is when we are most full within ourselves that we naturally offer our best gifts and service to the world, because it does not stop at the individual. It connects when we are most connected within ourselves and our spirit. that is when we naturally intersect and we can perceive that intersection with those around us, with the collective. So I appreciate you saying that. And oh my gosh, I'm laughing. I also, my first ex, same thing. This man could be anywhere. Oh my God, it was so annoying. I'm like, I'm done with
Yeah,
you.
it is super.
Stop it.
I agree. Super annoying. You're like, I was like, I can't help it. Wherever he's at, I'm gonna sense I can. We're connected like that. But that's
Totally.
also, one of the dimensions of self care is and wellness is social. Is that connection that
Yes.
we have to others. And people are like, well, how is that self care? Because that's I'm of service to me and of service to the collective. Love begets love.
Mm-hmm.
Kindness begets kindness. So as I am putting that energy, like you said, that vibration out into the world, what do you think is being returned to me?
Boom.
I'm like, I love the more, like you said, more Eastern concepts of community, of we are more than just the individual. We are a community. And the Black community, we used to have that.
Right.
Somewhere along the way, we just kind of disconnected because we stopped listening to the elders and we started listening to the outside world telling us that no, you have to think of yourself first.
Right.
Now,
Which was intentional.
now don't get me wrong. My message is self-care first. Focus, put you first to make sure you're happy, healed, and whole. But
Mm.
that's so also because as we do that for ourselves, we will now do that for our communities, for our loved ones. But it
Yes.
has to start with you. But I think in our world here, it's like it has to start and end with you. We don't
Mhm.
worry about how what
Full
we do
circle.
impacts the other people. It's like,
Yeah. I love that. It's so full circle. And to the point about, why do I want to help others? Or the question you say you hear sometimes, the number one indicator of longevity is social connection. It's not what you ate. It's not what you didn't smoke. It's not if you worked out. It's social connection. Not, it doesn't have to be a partner. It could be the male person. It could be the bar you go to, but social connection. And guess where you find most of the people who've lived the longest? In Eastern cultures.
mm-hmm.
So truly comes back to you, your actual livelihood.
So let's talk a little bit about do you realize it's already been an hour? That is so crazy. Like time just flies. Okay, well, at this point, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it up because we were just over here chatting and talking. I'm over here learning. I'm over here absorbing it all. I was ready to be like, okay, let's talk, but we gotta go. I gotta stay on. I gotta stay
Sure.
on time.
I really, you got me in suspense though, because I'm like, what was she gonna say? Like, what was it gonna be?
Because what I wanted to do is I was going to ask you, would you play something for us? Is there is
Oh,
there something that you could share so that people could get just a little sample?
oh, I would love that. I can pull up the app right now on my desktop version. I'm curious how to share actual sound through this platform. I see there's a present button.
We're
Is
gonna
that
try that because I am not sure either. I've never
okay?
I've not shared uh, sound stuff yet, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think I want to say I tried this once when I was a guest on somebody's YouTube actually, and they were using StreamYard, and I feel like it was a struggle, but but
I feel
maybe
like
things have changed. We could find out.
it says you can screen share, you can do slides, an extra camera, or a video file.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like.
So usually if you screen share and you have the desktop app, there's usually a little checkbox or somewhere where it'll say share your audio.
Okay, let's see. Share screen. Don't show these tips again. Okay, let me see. I don't see the place where I can show audio. Some screens let you share audio. Okay, look for on the next window. We got this, y'all.
We
Okay.
got this.
We're gonna do this. Share tab audio. Boom. Okay.
Boom, hey.
All right. Share. Can you see this? Or what do you see, I guess? Can I hear you? I can't hear anything.
Because I don't put myself on mute. Yes, we can see it right now.
Okay, beautiful. So welcome to the Sexy Sound Healing app. This is what it looks like when you first come on. It tells you everything about what you can experience. So I'm just running this by you. We offer a free week, so that's what it says on this page. You can get all the details. Okay, so now I'm gonna walk you through where I just was. So this category down here at the bottom is called Grow. And you get to start here, our announcements and upcoming events, our weekly doses. Oh, there's so much to share about inside this app. I'm going to take you to the category called High Performance and Definitive, because one of our fan favorites, and also mine too, I do most mornings with this particular affirmation audio, is called Sovereign Self Affirmations. It's 10 minutes. It's singing, it's speaking the affirmations, it's embodying them. Maybe I'll just share a moment. Well, I'll share till the beat drops. That's what I'll do. Let me know if you can hear it. Welcome to the Sovereign Self Affirmations. First, we're going to breathe together. I'll invite you to hum with me. And then we'll have some repeated spoken and sung affirmations related to sovereignty, to your wholeness, to self-ownership, to the truth and strength of your intrinsic power that you can reclaim. Inviting a breath in through the nose, feeling your belly expand. Exhale through the mouth. Again, breathing in through the nose. Feel yourself grounding as this breath enters your body and expands your belly. Again. Exhale with an audible sigh. I had to give myself the 3 breaths on that one.
That was awesome.
Oh,
awesome. Yes.
Thank you. Gosh, I want to share like little bits and pieces of the others, but that's why we have the free week on us so that folks can experience it.
So why don't you tell the people how they can get access to Sexy Sound Healing?
Touché. So it's super simple. You can go to sexysoundhealing.com. Right at the top of the page, it'll say, you'll see a button. It either says get your free trial or get your free week, whatever it says. Just click the button and it'll take you back to that page that I had just shown you. So that's it.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming. This has been so, you know what? I'm just like over here. I was loving it. I was loving the conversation. I've learned a lot, and I'm definitely going to be checking out the app. Make sure that you guys head on over to sexysoundhealing.com, get that free week, sign on up, just get it together. Get it together, people. We over here healing, we're growing, and we're vibing with the universe, baby. We getting it in. I love that. I love that. So you have been listening to Wake Up Happy Sis on KCCR The Brownstone, where we're changing the narrative for Black and Brown people by telling our stories our way. So make sure you tune in here, 10 a.m. Eastern every Monday, and then we replay it again Tuesday through Friday. So if you missed it live, you ain't missed nothing really, because we here for you. That's right. Make sure you head on over, check out LiSára and Sexy Sound Healing.
Sexy Sound Healing.
Yes.
Hey.
We're gonna be waiting for that music too.
Look, there's so much. I'm like, I wanted to share more. But it's in there. It's in there. And y'all can do gift cards. I actually just had someone get a gift card for a bridal shower, bachelorette party just last night. So yes, we're here for you. Feel free to connect with me on socials. LiSára XO on Facebook is where I spend most of my time. And Sexy Sound Healing is everywhere on socials as well.
All
So much
right.
love. Thank you so much. So
Thank you for
fun.
being here. I had such a wonderful time, and
Me
you're
too.
definitely invited back. You're definitely
Ooh, I
invited.
receive.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. Appreciate it.
Well, that's it, everybody. Y'all have a blessed and prosperous day and the day you were meant to have.
Mm,
Amen.
amen. Ashe.
All right. That was such an awesome episode. I want to thank LiSára for coming today and for sharing sound healing with us. But you know your girl Leanne ain't gonna leave you without something to download, baby. So what we're doing is we're offering a free sound healing starter kit. And it's just some resources to help you do your research and get started with sound healing, right? So head on over to bit.ly/sound healing starter kit to get your starter kit today.